The death of Mr. Oswald set the house guests on edge, and to say that they were shocked would have been a gross understatement. The fear and confusion radiated from everyone as they gathered in the room, all of them with gaping mouths while they stood in stunned silence, but the silence wouldn't last for long. Hey guys, my name is Angelia, and welcome back to the next part of the 10 Little Sims. As you saw in the last episode, poor Elias died, and no one knows what happened. They just walked into his room after looking for him, and there he was, on the ground, dead. Naturally, the Sims are all very scared right now. They don't exactly know what's going on. And the Grim Reaper's still here, hanging out. They're incredibly scared. Their host for the weekend just died in front of them, and there's no proof. They're the only people in this house. One of them must be the murderer, but all of them were downstairs, so how did one of them slip away long enough to kill poor old Elias? No one really knows, and that is incredibly loud. Now Grim is leaving. They don't know what to do with themselves now. Do they stay, or do they try to leave? I mean, what else are they supposed to do? Staying would be probably incredibly inappropriate. We need to lock this door for everyone, actually. So when they go to try to leave, which they will, they're unable to actually get out of the door. The doors have all mysteriously been locked. And there's no ferries in or out of town until the following week. So they actually can't leave the freaking island, and they're stuck here. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and turn on autonomy now. Let's turn that on. Sims are free to do as they please. I think their needs are still all met. So, aside from being scared, they're all kind of accusing one another right now. So, he is going to go ahead and accuse the evil queen, because who else would be behind this aside from her? So, Dr. Facilier is going to make a point to assume it was her. And she's like, "You're evil too. I don't understand why you're blaming me." So now Yzma is going to jump in and defend her child. Well, no, they're not childhood friends, but she is going to yell at him. She's going to come and insult him. How dare you say that when you could have done it just as easily? This is going off. Cruella is not having any of this nonsense. How dare you accuse us when we don't have any proof of any of this? Lottie is mostly just sad and scared because one of the people in this room is a murderer. Someone killed Elias, and she could be next. What if something bad happens? So she's going to go talk to Anastasia to try to make herself feel better, and she's going to give her a hug if we're able to hug her. We're not able to hug her yet. This TV is going off. I want to talk to Shang. Console about death. Esmeralda is chatting with Tiger Lily, trying to figure this all out. She wants to leave the villains at it. Obviously, it's one of them. Who else could it be? I mean, it's kind of obvious that it's going to be one of the villains, isn't it? Couldn't possibly be one of these guys. Dr. Facilier has exited himself in that conversation, and it shows the turn on the TV that I've turned off 1,001 times by now. Everyone is trying to make themselves feel better, and also side-eyeing each other heavily. I mean, how can they possibly trust... Oh my gosh, I'm going to turn this off again. I'm actually going to go ahead and get them out of this room. They are going to go downstairs. Let's see. It's 1:43 p.m. now. I am actually going to send them all into the ballroom. Everyone, please go into the ballroom, where a very loud noise is emanating from. They're hearing voices and they don't know where it's coming from. There's no one else in this house. The maid has already left, and Grim has also already left, so where could this voice be coming from? And why? There's accusations flying everywhere between them. Gaston, can you hurry that up? So we're going to go ahead and lock this door for everyone so no one goes and freaking watches the television anymore. And we are going to go in here. So we are actually going to change this volume to medium. Just pretend it's not music and it's actually... Oh, okay. I had you in here and you're leaving. You're ruining this. Okay. Let's turn autonomy off again. Because clearly they cannot be trusted to stick to this story. So let's turn autonomy off. Everyone, can you please stay in this room? So right now, the gramophone is just playing the music again. They heard the voices faintly, and they assumed it was coming from it, but now that they're actually in the room, they're not exactly hearing anything. They don't know what's going on right now. So, they are just chatting amongst themselves and trying to figure out what exactly has happened and why everything has gone so terribly wrong. And Tiger Lily's actually going to get a little bit closer and start to listen to it. Something sounds a little bit off to her. The notes are a little too sharp, and something just isn't quite right with this gramophone. And she's incredibly tense right now. Everyone's tensions are rising, and they don't know what to do. They don't know if they should stay. They all want to leave. However, obviously they can't leave, so there's no way out right now for them. We are also going to have Anastasia come and listen to this. And while they're in the middle of discussing what just happened and trying to riddle out who could have possibly done it, who left the room when they weren't looking, what happened, and how did he die? They just walked in and he was dead on the floor. Someone had to have done it. He wouldn't have just fallen over dead for no reason. But maybe it was just happenstance. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe, just maybe, it was from natural causes. Maybe he had some sort of underlying illness, and they just happened to be there at the wrong place and time. Things happen, and sometimes you can't control nature. But as these two are listening to it, and as they're chatting amongst themselves, a mysterious voice starts to talk over the music. At first, it starts off very faint. But as they continue to sit here and listen, it grows stronger and stronger and stronger. And it starts listing off their names. They start to hear their names come across the gramophone. And at first they think, this is just weird. Why is this gramophone saying their name? Maybe it was part of the song. And then it gets louder. The voice becomes more dominant and domineering, and there's a very obvious accusation in the voice. The gramophone's music transitioned to a loud voice that belonged to no one in the room, and the inhuman voice began to read out loud its accusation. You have all been brought here for various reasons, all of which lead back to your own selfish actions or needs. Perhaps you let someone die in your favor, or perhaps you thought only of yourself when others were in need. You were brought here to pay for your crimes against your fellow persons. Prisoners of the estate, have you anything to say for yourselves? After the horrifying messages from the gramophone, now they don't know what the heck is going on even more. Things are gotten so much more confusing. This was obviously orchestrated. Someone would have had to have put the correct music onto here, or the correct record, rather. Who recorded it, and when did they have time to switch out the records? How did this even happen, and why were they brought here just for strange accusations that, frankly, are not true by most of their standards. So we are going to unlock this door. I'm going to enable autonomy again. And let them be on their merry way. Actually, let's quickly... There we go. Let's quickly do that. So now, if it wasn't a bad day already, having this gramophone and whoever recorded it accuse them of crimes and being selfish and so cruel, it's just kind of the icing on the cake. And Lottie in particular wants to get out of here. She doesn't want to be here anymore. So she is actually going to call her... Well, she can't exactly call anyone, can she? She chat with anyone. She's going to... We're going to pretend that she's chatting with her dad. So Lottie is going to talk to her dad, asking him, can you please come and get me? I know that the fairies can't come because there's a storm rising, but I can't be here any longer. These people are crazy and something bad is going to happen. I don't want to die, Daddy. And naturally, he's going to try to do everything he can to get there, but he won't be able to with the storm that's rolling on in right now. It's rolling on in on the horizon, and there's going to be no way he can get the ferry across. So, the evil queen doesn't like to take no for an answer, so she is going to go and look around the house. She's going to go investigate something. She's going to go critique some work and view this. You know, she's trying to find answers. Maybe she'll be able to find a secret portrait or something. Something that will help them find answers. Anastasia is also going... Oh, actually it looks like we have Esmeralda. We'll do Esmeralda instead. Esmeralda is already here. She is just wondering about the house. You know, trying to take her mind off things. She doesn't know what to do with herself right now, and she's going to come in here. She's going to take a seat. She would hurry up, that would be great. Esmeralda, she just wanted to get away from them. She's going to listen to the wind chimes and just try to breathe. But as she's sitting here, she's noticing something's a little bit off. Oh, she can actually... That's pretty cool. She's just... Oh my gosh, she's obsessed with Shang right now. So she's looking at this photo, and there are 10 people standing in there. And to her, that seems a little bit ironic, considering there's 10 of them in the house right now. Does this mean something? So she's actually going to get up. Go a little bit closer to that for me. And she's going to view it a little bit more in depth. And here comes Lottie. Oh my gosh, she is seriously obsessed with him. Lottie is also feeling a little bit, you know, scared. Obviously, I mean, she wants her daddy to come and get her right now. So she's going to sit down. And it looks like Tiger Lily is also coming. Why can't you? I didn't notice how low her voice was, if I'm honest. So the girls are all in here. And as Esmeralda is staring at this photo, she can't help but wonder, does this mean something? So she's going to actually pick up the photo and flip it over and look on the back. And as she's looking it over, she sees like a slip of paper sticking out from underneath the backing. So she undoes the backing, the little fastenings, and she takes out the paper. And on the paper, there's a poem. And right off the bat, the poem is quite terrifying. As she's reading it through, her eyes get bigger, and she's looking over at Lottie and looking over at Tiger Lily, and she starts reading the letter, or rather, the poem rather, out loud. 10 little Sims all ready to dine. 1 choked on dessert, and then there were 9. 9 little Sims all sleeping late. 1 stayed awake, and then there were 8. 8 little Sims all watching Wes Craven. One lost his steam, and then there were 7. 7 little Sims engaged in conflicts. One raced himself, and then there were 6. 6 little Sims all hiding the knives. One lost his head, and then there were 5. 5 little Sims all bolt for the door. One heard a growl, and then there were 4. 4 little Sims all trying to flee. One couldn't breathe, and then there were 3. With 3 Sims left, they knew the end was near. One lost his spark, and the air was clear. One knew the truth, one paid for their lie. The nightmare was done, and then there was one. So as she just read this out loud, immediately Lottie is convinced this is about them, that someone planned this, someone in this house, or maybe it was the maid that came in. Someone, somewhere planned this. It couldn't have been Elias because he died. And he just was the first victim. Lottie is completely convinced that something crazy is about to happen to them. And now more than ever, she wants to get off of this freaking island. She does not want to be here. She's terrified. So she looks at Tiger Lily and she is saying, you know, I want to get out of here too. I think Lottie is right. I think something is wrong. And naturally, Lottie is kind of really freaking out right now on them. She is just not doing well on all of this. She doesn't understand what's happening, so she's going to try to talk with them, and maybe they'll be able to calm her down, but right now, she is terrified, as is Esmeralda. So she's filling in, oh my gosh, she's filling in Yzma right now on everything that they just read. She hands her the poem, and Yzma's reading it over, and naturally she's going to roll her eyes, thinking they're just being silly, stupid girls. They're being worried over absolutely nothing. It's silly. There couldn't possibly be some crazy murder plot going on. And since she thinks there's no murder plot going on, and you know, she genuinely wants to calm them down, Yzma's going to go ahead and come on. She's gonna make them some food. You know, they're just gonna hang out. She's gonna try to calm the girls down. And, you know, convince them, you know, there's no crazy murder plot going on. There's nothing bad that's happening. You're fine. Don't be so worried about it. So, she's gonna go ahead and let's see what we can make. I actually don't know what she can make. This kind of seems like a Yzma thing, actually. I actually kind of want to make the new... Let's do the Panda Mortal. Why not? So she's gonna go in here and bake some bread for them and hopefully ease the tension. However, this almost concludes our part for this episode. This includes my part in it anyway. For the live part, you'll be seeing the cutscene for the next episode coming up. And I really hope you're enjoying this series as much as I am, and I will see you guys in the next episode of the 10 Little Sims. Bye! As most of the guests tried to retire to their bedrooms for the remainder of the evening, a few stayed awake as their nerves got the best of them. Some were choosing to remain ignorant of the warning of the gramophone, and most didn't know of the poem that was found just an hour ago. Wanting to shake off the nerves, Yzma wandered into the kitchen in search of something sugary as she had a huge sweet tooth. If only she had known that it might have been her last.